excellent work. Your father would be proud of you. Having already interrogated the guests, Detective O'Reilly is now discussing the murder with the staff members as they leave the party. It would be best if you don't interfere.
Hi, Miss Bowe. I'm Ernie Leach. Dr. Carrington told me you could stay a while and talk to the staff. I've got to lock the doors, so just come and find me when you're ready to leave. Dr. C also has a key, but you don't want to bother him about that.
Thank you, Mr. Leach.
Just be careful where you go. Wolf will get upset if he finds you downstairs. See you later.
Did you manage to learn anything from your interviews, Detective O'Reilly?
Don't bother your little head about it, lass.
It's my job, sir.
This is an official murder investigation, Miss Bowe. Do not be interfering.
Oh, I don't mean to interfere. I just want to know what's going on. Any leads so far?
Dr. Carter died as the result of someone sticking a gift shop dagger in his chest. What more do you need to know?
Well, for one thing, who did it?
Someone who didn't like him, that's my guess.
Brilliant deduction.
If you think that you can do better.
I can try.
Oh, wunderbar. Now we've got the amateurs involved.
I may not be a detective, but I'm terribly clever. I've solved murders before.
Just stay out of me way, lass, and don't destroy the evidence.
Certainly not.
Yeah. Humph.
You see a short, elderly woman dressed flamboyantly, and you suspect expensively, and sporting a grotesque amount of makeup. In fact, when she speaks, you notice small flecks of base coat chipping off of her jowls and tumbling onto her furred collar. This particular example of This short, blustery man reminds you vaguely of President Roosevelt. Despite his diminutive frame, his bearing is self-assured and cocky, and his pince-nez only adds to the aura of distinguished snobbery. Cart Before the Horse by Susetto live in Godoni, 1481. When you touch the painting, you smear a bit of the paint as if it's still damp. A typical light-hearted painting by anonymous Bosch called A Heartwarming Story, depicting dead humans being tormented by skeletons and demons in hell. The oil paint on the canvas is old and cracked, but you can still see the characteristic brush strokes of anonymous Bosch, who painted with human bones instead of brushes. A fine example of neo-quasi-Italian Renaissance sculpture by Alberto Ravioli. Sculpted in 1525, the humanoid statue is called, appropriately enough, Ruminations on Death and Dismemberment. This is the Old Masters Gallery, The glint doesn't glint when you hold your finger on it. The geometric pattern of the tiles on the floor, which remind you of a late Roman mosaic, and the general style of the room with its marble statuary, is a definite reminder that you're in a museum. You hear muffled voices coming through the door to Yvette's office.
Thank you for coming to see me, Olympia. This is very nice of you.
You're very welcome, my dear. What can I do for you?
Oh, you see, I found this strange bone, and I said to myself, Yvette, if anyone can tell you what this is, it would be Olympia.
A bone, you say? How fascinating. Where did you find it?
I found it right here in the museum. Here it is, Doctor.
Now, let me see. Ha ha! Yvette, you silly girl. This is a chicken bone.
It is?
Yes, of course. Why, it is still greasy. You got this at dinner, didn't you?
Oh, you have caught me, Olympia. I was playing the little joke on you.
You are a funny girl, Yvette, but I am quite fond of you.
Olympia, we are the good friends, no? I have the problem I wish to talk to you about.
Oh, certainly. What is it?
Come closer so I can whisper it to you. It is very personal, and I want no one to overhear.
Oh, my. Oh, my. Oh, my.
You feel a blush creeping over your face as you look at the perfect body of Rodin's famous thinker. This door is locked. What a handsome fellow. Let's see what the plaque says. Caesar Augustus, BC 63 to AD 14. Octavian, great-nephew and adopted son of Julius Caesar, he assumed the name Augustus after his sound defeat of Mark Antony left him supreme master of the Roman world. He was the first of the true Roman emperors, not counting Julius, who didn't live long enough to enjoy the title, and established the Pax Romana throughout the empire. His wife murdered him with a poisoned fig. He was a pretty nice fellow for an emperor, and everybody missed him. Oh my, he looks dour. Let's see who he is. Tiberius, BC 42 to AD 37. Tiberius disliked most everyone and practiced the strictest economy with funds devoted to public amusement. Consequently, most everyone disliked him. Although he was perceived by the upper classes as a suspicious, ill-natured tyrant throughout his reign, he ruled the empire with a firm, capable hand, and Rome prospered. He was most probably smothered by his nephew Caligula, although no one is quite sure to this day. Nobody missed him. Oh dear, he looks somewhat dissipated. Let's read his plaque. Caligula, BC 37 to AD 41. Caligula started out a decent enough chap, but shortly after he became emperor, he was seized with a severe illness which unsettled his reason. Consequently, his name has become a byword for frantic cruelties and insane imaginings. The grotesque atrocities of his reign were ended when he was assassinated by the Praetorian Guard in a grimy tunnel beneath the Colosseum. Nobody missed him either. There's a thoughtful-looking gentleman. What does his plaque say? Claudius, BC 10 to AD 54. Enthroned by the Praetorian Guard after the assassination of his odious nephew Caligula, Claudius accomplished much for the empire. Although weak and timid by nature, he proved to be a noble statesman. He built the famous Roman aqueducts and conducted a successful campaign against Britain. His fourth wife murdered him with a poisoned mushroom. She didn't miss him, but the rest of the empire did. The cloth seems to be covering something up. It's half of the famed Rosetta Stone. The cages are empty now. You can only guess at what they once held. It's a rat, ready to pounce. Well, he would pounce if he wasn't stuffed. Cy Pembert, a formerly successful flax farmer from Nebraska, apparently strayed from a museum tour many years ago. His remains were later found in a rarely used storage closet. Since he left no known survivors, the museum president decided to keep him on as a permanent staff member. This office is now his permanent home. There's an array of rare cockroaches in the display case. The giant lizards are displaying some rather uncivilized behavior. It's Dr. Miklos's PhD in physical anthropology from the University of Thessalonica, Greece. It's Dr. Miklos's double master's degree in paleontology and physical anthropology from the University of Thessalonica, Greece. It says Dr. Olympia Miklos, Lifetime Achievement Award, from the Society to Protect Misunderstood Inquilines. Thank you, dearest doctor, for helping people to truly appreciate inquilines. You are a true friend of the rat, mouse, pigeon, and cockroach. It's Dr. Miklos's PhD in paleontology from the University of Thessalonica, Greece. A number of hieroglyphics are carefully drawn on the blackboard. A number of hieroglyphics are carefully drawn on the blackboard. It's your While this is an interesting approach, it serves no practical purpose. It's an intercom slave unit. It's a rat, ready to pounce. It's Barney, Olympia's pet cobra. The skull of the long-extinct horned rhesus, known in academic circles to be the source of much controversy regarding it as evidence for the extraterrestrial origin of primate evolution. This jar is labeled liver tissue, spotted baboon. Dr. Miklos has many scholarly texts. You see titles such as Common Bone Disorders of Jackals, Parker's Annotated Encyclopedia of Decay, Know Your Fractures, Mummification Techniques, Advanced Dental Identification, and Decomposition from A to Z. Dr. Miklos's desk is large and impressive. The bottle says, Dr. Moribund's Guaranteed Snake Oil.
Good evening, Miss Bo.
Oh, you startled me.
Good. It gets the blood flowing, doesn't it?
Well, I suppose so.
I see we're looking at my snake oil.
Well, I was just looking around.
I'm sure you meant no harm.
What's the snake oil for, anyway?
It repels snakes, of course. Comes in handy when I'm working in the basement. I lost a load of Egyptian cobras down there a few weeks ago, and I occasionally come across one of those little darlings. Those snakes always want to bite me, but I'm sure they don't mean anything by it. It's just their way. They get nervous very easily, you know. Normally, I love to watch them kill things. My Barney will kill anything he can sink his teeth into.
Charming.
Well, I'd like to chat some more, but I've got to rush off and meet that young Steve fellow. He promised to show me his scars. See you later.
The shiny marble floor reflects your image, ghost-like in its mottled surface. Heavy stone masonry. Each block must weigh hundreds of pounds. The window is too dark to see through.
Good evening, Dr. Carrington.
Good evening, Miss Bow. Good evening.
A scuffed wooden floor. A used piece of carbon paper. You pick it up and place it in your purse. The surface of the desk is very clean, as if it's dusted or wiped regularly. There are words typed on the carbon paper, but you can't read them this way. One of those new portable typewriters. At a mere £50, you can take it anywhere. Well, you could if it was useful to you, which it isn't, so forget it. A paper cutter with a sharp blade. It's a diploma with Yvette Delacroix's name on it. An advanced degree in French from Ball State University, to be exact. The light bulb is on. You find it very illuminating. Backlit, you can read the words typed into the carbon paper. Ernie, Big Al called to see if you could do some fencing for him next week. He says he'll make it worth your while to do a fast fencing job. Watercolor painting, Predators Stalking Prey by Yvette Delacroix, 1925. Watercolor painting, Perverse Pleasures by Yvette Delacroix, 1926. Watercolor painting, Purple Pollywogs Playing in Puddles by Yvette Delacroix, 1924. Everything on the desk is neatly organized. The edges of the desk are shiny, as if someone leans on them a lot. The surface of the desk, a matched pair of crossed battle axes left over from this room's previous occupant. There's a homey old Norwegian phrase stitched into this needlepoint. An axe in the hand is worth two in the bush. Words to live by. The file label reads, Renaissance Masters Collection. It's a Venus flytrap. You hear muffled voices coming through the door to Yvette's office.
Come a little closer, Monsieur Nazir. I am wanting to show you something.
And what would that be, Miss Delacroix?
Look at the palm of my hand.
It is a lovely palm, to be sure. But what am I supposed to see?
You see this line, monsieur? It is my love line.
My goodness, Miss Delacroix. It goes all the way up your arm and disappears up your sleeve.
Would you like to see where it ends up, Ramses? Have you ever been to Paris, Ramses?
No, I can't say I ever have.
Then you have never seen the Eiffel Tower?
No.
Well, by all means, let me show you.
Miss Delacroix, please. I'm a married man. Oh, dear.
Have you forgotten who let you into the museum, Ramses? Have you forgotten who showed you the secret room for your little ceremonies? You haven't, have you?
No, I haven't, but...
Then you will let me give you the grand tour of the tower, no?
We'll have to go somewhere else. I don't feel safe here.
Lead the way, monsieur.
It's a portrait of the former Leyendecker Museum president, Sterling Waldorf Carlton. The famous Spears Tower. Charcoal. You pick it up and place it in your purse. It's the only telephone in the museum. Using your remarkable powers of deduction, you conclude that this little book contains phone numbers. Countess and Ziggy at 1 a.m. Medieval armor display. Don't touch it. It's the latest thing in office telecommunications technology, an intercom master unit. It's President Carrington's stuffed porcupine, Spiny Norman. Locked drawers. You see charcoal smeared all over the paper. Rubbing the charcoal over. While this is an interesting approach, it serves no practical purpose. Rubbing the charcoal over the notepad has made the imprint readable. Yvette 8 o'clock Egyptian rum, Tut 10:15 Egyptian rum, Carrington 11 o'clock his office. It's the late. You touch the intercom unit, completely missing the buttons. You touch the intercom unit, completely missing the buttons. And the whole point, apparently. You touch. The 6-button intercom allows the president to talk and listen to people in other offices. It's the late. You touch the intercom unit. You touch the intercom unit, completely missing the button. It's the latest thing. The 6-button intercom allows the president to talk and listen to people in other offices. You touch the intercom unit. You touch the. You touch the. You touch. 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 The intercom crackles and you overhear a conversation.
Oh, I so love your scars, Wolfie. Show them to me again, darling.
They are yours to admire, my strudel.
Hoopa! Very, very nice.
Yeah, and I have this new bone for your collection.
Ah, such a large bone, too. Where did you find it?
I've been carrying this bone around for years. It is yours now, my Fräulein. You may do with it what you will.
I'm impressed by your generosity, Wolfie.
The intercom crackles and you overhear a conversation.
Oh, my lover, how do you manage to do it so many times?
Sure, and a man's got to do what a man's got to do.
And you do it so well.
Try and keep your voice down, lass. Someone might hear us.
Oh, I do not care, my amour. Life, she is something we only enjoy once.
Sure, and begorra, I do this at least 50 times a day to stay in shape.
50 times, ooh la la, and what do you call this movement?
Sit-ups, lass. I also do 50 push-ups each day, then I run a few miles.
The intercom crackles and you overhear a conversation.
I'm telling you, pal, you're not supposed to be down here.
Nothing poisonal, Mac, but Archie said I could scope the place out.
Well, he didn't say anything to me about it. Neither did Mr. Heimlich. And he's the chief of security.
It's okay, Mac. Don't get used britches in an uproar. Trust me.
I'd only trust you about as far as I can throw you.
Hey now, there ain't no need for fiscal violence, Mac.
I'll give you 10 seconds. If you aren't out of my sight by then, I'm gonna hurt you real bad.
You're touchy, ain't ya? But I was done down here anyways. See you around, Mac.
Not if I can help it.
You touch... When you press the button, all you hear is static. You touch the... When you press the button, all you hear is static. When you press the button, all you hear is static. You pick it up and place it in your purse.